Tuesday. Hello, how are you?
Welcome back.
We are all here. Sometimes if you guys could see the last like 30 seconds before we start.
Yeah.
Like making Matt crazy. It's our goal every Tuesday, and so far, every show we're successful.
Yep.
So we are so glad you're here. We've got so much stuff planned for you this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the coming up next graphic.
So we got the rally, which hasn't started yet.
Don't start. Trisha's deleting people like crazy,
Yep.
so stop it.
And then we're going to do the hot 2 minutes from a couple of different guests. It's going to be great. We've got RVP, six-figure earner Wes Flournoy is going to be on. He's going to talk about Andy's presentation, Andy's plan. We got SNSD Lawrence Walker is going to be on. And then we're actually going to close the whole segment at right around 7:30 Eastern. We're going to roll, if you missed it on the Unicoi broadcast, we're rolling Andy's presentation front to back. So you have about 20 minutes that run. So right around, I guess,
8:30.
About 8:30.
Not 7:30.
Oh, sorry, 7, not 7.
8:30 Eastern. We're going to go ahead and roll about towards the end of the show.
Yep.
And we'll just let it run. It's 19 minutes, 10 seconds. It's Andy's presentation beginning to end, no stop, no editorial. It's exactly how he does it. I've seen him do it a lot, and it does it exactly the same all
Every
the time.
time.
It's like, know your part. That's exactly what he's talking about. So we want you to join us on social, right? Last week we had so much activity off of Unicoi. We loved it. We love seeing you all. We miss you all dearly. Can't wait till we can all get back together in large numbers.
Yep.
But in the meantime, join us on...
Yeah, use our hashtag on Twitter and Instagram, hashtag SNSD Factory.
Oh,
And then, of course, if you're using Facebook, you're going to need to mention us. That's at Let's Get Bigger Go Home. And you can also send us something on the text line. You've got to manually add it to the wall. But that's how you appear on the wall. So you got...
but use text if you need to. I'd rather you talk to us than not. So use the text.
Yeah, private messages, emails, YouTube comments, none of that stuff's going to get pulled into the wall. But if it's a public post that uses our hashtag, it'll show up. And you can watch this. Can we roll the social wall real quick? You can see this anytime you want at getbiggergohome.com. We've got a social feed tab on there. You just click on that. You'll be able to scroll through this just like it's scrolling right now. Find yourself, find your team, whatever you want to recognize. You got a promotion that's happened between now and the next big event. Go ahead and put it out there. Use our hashtag. So, and of course, obviously follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
Follow us
on Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep. We're there. We're posting pretty much often, very often.
Yeah,
actually.
Instagram and Facebook, especially the stories. Between the you want to get on the newsletter, email list at getbiggergohome.com, as well as just follow us on those forms of social media. We're going to tell you what we're doing every Tuesday night, who's going to be on, what other big announcements we got, tell you about the big event. So it's the way to keep your finger on the pulse of everything Get Bigger Go Home.
So you'll know exactly where to be, when to be, and what time to be there, right? We tell you that stuff. We announce it Tuesday, email, and all the social stuff as well. So rally, let's go ahead and get that little thing started. We are at the RVP only stage. RVP should be counting the people that are attending, that they believe are plugged in and watching us. I will do my little thing. If you are an RVP of a team of one, that's just you. We want you to report too, right? Because that's how it all begins. So everybody, all RVPs report, 404-465-1830. You're going to say RVP, your RVP last name, your last name, and then the number of people that you have watching. Trish has already cleaned the board off, so it's clear.
Yep.
So everybody can go ahead and start texting now. So what do they win?
Well, they win time with Andy, right?
10 minutes.
10 minutes with Andy. Zoom call, not just personally, but their whole team get on there, get personal, individualized coaching. And then you're also going to win the mug, right? That's what everybody's fighting for. You want to get a whole collection of them.
I thought it was for the whole 10 minutes.
Well,
that part. No, it's really the mug.
This is the mug. Yeah.
Okay. And what else? That's it. That's what
bragging rights.
And bragging rights.
Glory.
Yep.
So
Well, who's the highest? Is it Walter?
I think it's Walter.
Walter with
Sixth time?
6.
Yeah.
6 times
So he's
since
got
we've
a
been rolling
six-pack.
for 5 months.
Yep.
Yep, he does. But last week, it was somebody new to the scene, Daryl Julian. Congratulations. And that's right? Daryl Julian last week. I don't want that. I changed my mind.
I
We
didn't know.
could show it. Let's go ahead and show it anyways. And
Yeah,
then,
he's got the mug here. If you
He's got
switch
the
to my
mug.
computer real quick, Matt.
yeah, sorry. This is Joe Charles. He was new too, and he won Unicoi,
Yep.
which was not easy because you had to calculate 2 days worth of people watching.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, he won. He sent us a nice picture of him in the mug. So congratulations to both Daryl and Joe. So who's next? Who's going to win?
Yep.
Who's up for today, right? Today's winner. We'll show you the text number one more time on the next graphic, 404-465-1830. So are they coming in, Trish?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
All right, one more time to see how you do it. RVP, last name, number of people.
Only RVPs.
Trish just said only RVPs if you couldn't hear.
Can't
So
hear.
RVPs only right now. We just want the RVPs report the number of people watching in your base shop. So tell us who you are and how many people you've got watching. And later on, we'll pick the top base shops and let them individually report in, like some people are jumping the gun right now.
Yes, they are. They can't help themselves. It's too much fun.
Yep.
So we're going to start out tonight with the hot twos that Wes a couple weeks ago named this section. And basically they're what we used to call in the old days 2-minute ideas. 2 minutes from tonight, the first section are rally leaders, people who are showing up consistently all the time, good numbers getting better, working their way up to the top.
Yep.
So tonight we have with us Sylvia Robinson. Hey, Sylvia.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're from.
Hey, everybody. I'm Sylvia Robinson. I am from Noonan, Georgia. I work with Andy Young out of the Duluth and Suwanee office.
So give us your 2 minutes about being in the rally, why you're in the rally, and how it helps you out.
So, guys, having everybody log in or sign into Tuesday training, it's been crucial for the growth of our business or my business. And what we really do, we start once the IBA is signed, we stress the importance of logging in on Tuesday night. So it's become part of our culture. You sign the IBA, we tell you when training is, we tell you how to log on, and then we reinforce it. We reinforce it at our team meetings. It's just reinforced throughout the week about the importance of logging into training. And so what that does, it enables all of our new team members to just get a bigger picture of who Primerica is. It actually makes my job a lot easier because I don't have to sell the vision and sell the dream. The dream and the vision is sold by $1 million earners. The dream and the vision is sold by people who talk about, like Andrea Burks, who made $800,000 without making one sale. And so it's vision stretching for everybody. And the way the team really describes it, they describe it as fuel. Like a lot of times during the week, they'll go through their nose, they'll go through disappointments, but plugging back into training, it revitalizes and re-energizes people. And then afterwards, of course, we talk about everybody and say, you know, what was the most important thing that you took from training? So consistency is key. And then knowing the players that we have in the room, knowing the players that log in consistently to training, they're the people that are moving their team along and growing incrementally. So Tuesday training has really, really helped us grow our team and grow our business.
That's great, Sylvia. Thank you so much. Yay, right?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Next up, we have Doris Rodriguez. Doris, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. And then give us your 2 minutes on being a rally leader.
Hey guys,
Hey.
so I'm here. Noel and I are here. We're actually out of the state of Florida, and you know, one of the exciting things about having this vehicle to plug people into is that, you know, when I was recruited into Primerica, I was actually living in New York, and my RVP was in Maine. So I had a 5-hour drive difference. And so we really used to try to rally people to events when he was in town. And now, because of what you guys have put in place, I mean, right now we have people from Pennsylvania, New York, soon to be Texas, Florida. And so it's exciting to be able to get everybody together. And some people we haven't even met personally, but because of this, right, we're able to get on a Tuesday night. And so, and the thing is that our team is so great. We have a couple. So we're here representing Team Let It Rip, but we have a couple, Melvin and Jennifer Edwards, and one of the things that he's really good at is so tell me, hey, I'm so excited. We had so many on tonight besides Jennifer and I, and he's really tracking his team attendance. And I think that for the people who are future RVPs or want to become RVPs, this is a great way for you to catapult you to the next level to become an RVP. And so, I was always told, getting people to the next event, and the next event, what's the next big event is the next event, right? And so, and then after we're done, we get on a Zoom training ourselves that we do, and then we just pick some people who just really have done some great things for the week, and they get to speak and they get to talk about what they got out of the Get Big or Go Home. And so it's essential to be able to plug in, and nobody can sell the dream better than the person who's living the dream. And so having Andy and all these great leaders come in and just show us what life could be like for all of us. We all need that. Even us, Nolan and I have been in business a long time, yet every time we get off these Get Big or Go Home events, we are just so jacked up about just going to the next level. Just like when we this last event that we had, it was like after the huddle, like I was like, I don't need to hear anything else. Like I'm like, we need to get to work, right? And so that's why it's so crucial, for not only you to get on, but to get other people onto the event. And if you're a competitor like we are so sick to death, right, of all these people winning the cups.
We want a mug, we're gonna get one.
That's right. And so so for competitive people, this is great, because you know what? You want to get in the game, and we definitely wanted to get in the game. So we appreciate everything that you guys do over there. And obviously, Andy is a leader who we actually absolutely adore. We would always drive, all these hours just to be able to get that feel. And now to know that every Tuesday we can get that feel, it's just awesome. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Doris. Well, thank you, Doris. We're so glad that you came on and shared that with us. And it's true, event to event. That's what keeps the momentum going. It keeps you going down just keeping you on the track, moving you towards your goals and your dreams. The last person to join us is actually a new RVP, brand new, last month.
Yep.
He's under Wes and Shea Florinord, but what I found interesting about him is he was plugged in under Wes, right? And then he was on his own one day, overnight, and he showed up, reported numbers, and plugged in right away, because that is what he had been trained to do, and it was very awesome. So Aaron Thomas is joining us. Hey, Aaron, and Lakeisha, right?
Yes. Hey.
Welcome. Tell us, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and then give us your 2 minutes.
How you doing, guys? So we're here, Miami, Florida, under Andrea's hierarchy, Director Wesley. When I tell you, hey, if you guys know Wesley, he's like my brother, and we love him at the same time. So I'm gonna have my wife share a little bit, then I'm gonna take it away.
Yes, thank you guys so much for allowing us to speak. I mean, the truth is, Darla, we understood from coming from, Strength and Honor, that showing up to every event is crucial for your business. We know that we can't expand our own vision, right? So plugging into these events is just like going to church, right? And every time we plug in, we get reminded of what we can have and what we can do, so we vow to ourselves first. We weren't going to accept excuses from each other. We weren't going to accept excuses from ourselves. We were going to be the hardest people on ourselves. So we decided we'd show up. And I promise you, when I first joined the business, I used to be that person where saying, hey, how is one meeting going to make or break me? Right? That was me, right? And I'm like, I'm hearing the same thing over and over again, but it's not about you. It's about bringing new people, right? It's about, new people hearing the same thing over and over again, always staying plugged into the system. But I decided to stop being arrogant. I decided to humble myself and realize that all the people around me that were making money, those were the ones that were showing up consistently, right? And so I wasn't crazy. I decided, you know what, I'm going to at least try. Let's try this thing of showing up consistently, staying plugged into the system, being sold out to the system. And it wasn't until we did that that things started to move for us. But the truth is that we just been blessed with great coaches, Wes and Shay, Andrea Burks, that they take no excuses. But most importantly, they have integrity and they lead from the front.
And they tell it like it is. You know, it doesn't matter how you feel or what's happening. They know that they would never say anything that's going to jeopardize anyone's business. So when it comes down to being plugged in, guys, one thing I definitely want to say is that we was with Andy this weekend, and he said something about his brain is not his brain. So you guys, you know, you don't know what you don't know unless you plug into big events like this. You know, when it comes down to it, you know, people see Primerica through you, and that could be a good or a bad thing. But when you plug them into an event that's something like this on Tuesdays and everything as well, to be able to pick Andy Young's brain, to know the type of caliber, type of person he is in this business, is mind blowing. That he is willing to, you know, to take his time out to teach us everything we need to learn. So being plugged into these events are the most important thing when it comes down to you and your business. Having your people plugged in and staying plugged in is the most important thing. And basically in this whole company, not just that, but driving attendance to these events. See, every Tuesday we have to drive attendance as if this is Winston-Salem. Right? Winston-Salem doesn't start when Winston-Salem starts. Winston-Salem starts right here, right now, at these every weekly events. And like, you know, we are coming for the cup. So I'm going to practice my drink. This is a Strength and Honor cup. If you guys don't know, I'm going to practice right now. So when we win the actual cup, you know, I'm just practicing my exercise, but we coming for the cup. We definitely
muscles, so you got to warm up.
Yep.
We're going to make it happen. So thank you for allowing us to take this time out to, you know, thank everybody for this opportunity.
Well, we're so glad that you joined us. Thank you so much. We're super proud of what you're doing. Keep it up. I know Wes and Shay are excited. You guys are doing an awesome job. So,
a little round of applause for our guests.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're going to have another gathering of Hot Twos later in the show. So you guys get to see another version of that. Yep. So let's talk about Andy's complete system, shall we?
Yeah. So, I mean, it really, you know, it's got a couple of things, you know, double-digit recruiting.
Yes,
obviously,
of course.
People know about that. But, you know, it's very specific in the way he does things. You know, he's a 2-page, 20-minute presentation kind of guy. And, you know, and then he does, you know, he harvests names.
Yep.
He does a follow-up a very specific way. And he keeps the things so simple. And, you know, it's sometimes you want to add stuff to it or change things. And I know I'm guilty of it.
Yes.
But there's one guy who has really, really just said, you know what? This is, you know, Andy's the reason I moved to Atlanta. This is why I got to do what he says. So he has bought into that. He's bought in so much that, you know, right now it's his wife's birthday, but he's still taking the time here to come out. So happy birthday, Shay.
Happy birthday, Shay.
And we'll be celebrating later tonight. But Wes has done an amazing job really taking what Andy did and, you know, if there's going to be duplicating it. You want to say
Shay in the background.
So yeah, if you want to say, okay, Andy's my coach, this is a guy
that
who
you want to
can proudly
be following.
say that. So put your hands together for Wes Flournoy.
All right. That is awesome. I mean, always excited to be here on set, having a good time. I mean, Rob is crazy, you guys. Yeah, if you don't know that, you know. The big man seat. My goodness, I'm never washing these pants again. Hopefully my wife didn't hear that. You know, but, you know, ultimately that's what it's all about. You know, I remember moving down here like Rob was saying. I moved to Georgia because I came to a Get Big or Go Home event. I seen the environment. Andy and Mary treated us so well. I mean, you won't find better people that'll just show you, you know, just be homey with you. And I told my coach, look, I'll pay to come back. And I did. I moved, right? You know, I moved everything, came back so I could be near Andy and his coaching and what's going on here. And then, but, you know, moving up, you know, like Aaron was talking about, Andy said my brain isn't my brain. I mean, everything he learned is from Bob Turley and some of the great leaders, Art Williams. And so I had to accept that. So coming down here, you know, Andy has this thing where he says, don't call me coach if you're not running the play. And, you know, that it hurts my heart if I'm the type of person that I'm calling him coach, but I'm not running the play. So I decided, you know, I have to earn the right to call Andy coach, and that's by doing everything exactly the way he said. Now, the crazy thing is he came up with this presentation, 18 minutes. And, you know, I came from Florida. I had something and I had to adjust. I knew if I was going to be in the environment, then it's something that I was going to have to learn. So he told everybody, hey, call me with your 2-minute story so I can evaluate it for you and see if it's something good. So he told a bunch of people that. You know, but a bunch of people did not call him, but I did. I called him to give him my 2-minute story, and he said, all right, hey, man, you might want to take this out, keep this in, this is good. So he helped me narrow down my 2-minute story. Not 2.5 minutes, not 3 minutes, 2 minutes. And then he has this 18-minute presentation that he does. And here's what it is. It's 2 pages. It's crazy because when I came down here, I had a 6-page presentation, and then, you know, Andy jokes there's a 72-page presentation online that everybody, you know, so it's like he says if you do chicken soup and you got 1,000 ingredients, nobody is going to like it. If you got a few recognizable ingredients, then it's fine. But see, you can't have all this different stuff in the chicken soup. So I seen his 18-minute and it's I could not believe it because, you know, everywhere around the country it's 6 pages, 10 pages, 20 pages. So first I had to accept, okay, Wes, go ahead and do this 2-minute presentation. I was not doing that in the beginning. I kept everything in what I was doing. And so, see, I didn't buy off. And, you know, so it was a struggle in the beginning, right? You know, and a lot of us want to accept what we already know. But once again, to call the coach, you have to run the play. That's what a true player is, someone who runs the play. So I said, all right, no problem. So I download his presentation. It's right on SoundCloud, Andy Young's presentation. So I listen to it over and over. I write it down. I put it in my iPad. I'm practicing and practicing and practicing until I could get it down. And then finally, I get it down. And I just couldn't believe how simple it is. Me and Darla was talking about it backstage. We're like, man, I can't believe it's that simple. So I had to do that. So I got that part down. Then it was the follow-up. Now, it's crazy because here's the crazy thing about the follow-up. Andy, he does his thing. He finds out your why. You know, what do you want? You know, obviously, he throws out the net in his presentation, which is something that a lot of people leave out. So when you hear the presentation, you'll notice, you know, hey, people you know that have been through separation, divorce, death in the family, serious illness, accidents. And then you probably said, I said that kind of fast, but I'm pretty sure you heard your part. Right? If you've been through death, you know, you had death in the family, you heard that. If you've been through separation, you know that, right? You know, and so whatever it is, you're going to hear your part. And he's like, hey, look, I have something where people, you can work part-time, like real estate. A lot of people work real estate part-time. We've done that for the last 40 years. So you have a system, you can work 5 to 10 hours a week, work a week, skip a week. You don't have to be tied down to a weekly or monthly schedule. There's no quotas to meet here. So people hear $500 to $1,000, right? So, or if someone's serious, they'll hear the broker part, where over in our system, through 5 or 10 people you know in their referrals, we can get 25 to 40 people licensed for you. Most of them are part-time. They can do 30 sales a month, which is less than one a person, and that'll pay you a 6-figure income. That's over $155,000 a year, and that could be accomplished within a 5 to 12-month period in our system. So he says that. So you're going to hear your part, whether it's the part-time, whether it's the 6 figures you want to earn, or a product or service that interests you. Whatever it is going to be there. Separation, divorce, death in the family, serious illness, accident, you're going to hear your part. So he throws it out so you can catch the whales to the minnows, right? From the biggest to the smallest fish, it doesn't matter. So that's a big thing. I spoke to an RVP down in Florida. She said as a result of that presentation, she went from 3 recruits to 22 recruits, like just like that. Because it's all based on recruiting. And then so we'll talk about that, but it's 100% recruiting presentation, and you end up missing with the sale, right? That's what ends up happening. So Andy Young talks about, I'm looking for RVPs. And that's true because he says it's RVP or bust. You know, that's what they used to write, a bumper sticker in the back of his car, RVP or bust. And we're looking for RVPs right now. And then the follow-up, he finds out your why. Hey, what do you want to do? You know, why are you here? And then he digs. You know, he's like, hey, man, I've been through a separation, divorce. He's like, okay, well, tell me about that. Well, you know, It was tough, had to move in with my parents. Oh yeah, really? How did that feel? Tell me about that. So he's digging. He's like, he wants everything. He wants, if you have a sweater, he wants you to vomit and have it all sticky with stuff. I mean, Andy Young is sick, and that's why I love him. That's why I love him. You know, so you have that. So he does the follow-up, and then here's what he does in the follow-up. He's like, hey, here's the compensation. And he's like, I am not going over the compensation unless the person signs up. Because why am I going to show him that we get paid 110% on a $1,000 share? You can make more money than the actual set. Why would I explain that if the person hasn't signed up? Oh, throw one more bone out there, see if they'll grab it. He's like, I don't do that. So I learned I'm not going to do that either. And that was a big struggle because I'm like, all right, well, let's show him something else. You know, what else? You know, put the hat on the clown, you know, make up, hey, look at me. But he's like, no, I don't do that. So he goes over the compensation after you sign up. And then here's what he does. He does this thing where he's like, look, I'm looking to sit down with the 5 to 10 people, closest people you know. That he's like, a lot of people do the 25, 50 name lists, 100 name lists. He's like, look, you know, I'm looking for the 5 to 10 because we want to get 3 recruits. 5 or 10 will be better, but I'm looking for the top 5 people. If you're stuck in the middle of the road, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, and who's going to come pick you up? It's a bad part of town, you ran out of gas and you know, there's no Uber, there's no Lyft, no tow trucks. People around you, they don't look too nice. Who are you going to call? Well, whoever the first 5 people you'll call, these are the people I want to sit down with. And then he told me, he's like, listen, Wes, if they're not willing to sit down with them, like their mama, if your mama is not willing to set up an appointment, you can't get your mama in front of me. Look, listen, I'm going to be real nice, but here, I got to give you to somebody else because I don't have time for people with no credibility. So, and I struggled with that. You know, we was laughing backstage because one of my struggles was, you know what, Andy, so you don't set the appointment on the spot? Because you hear all the things on stage where, hey, look, we come, we do an interview, and they stay right there, and we orientate right there, and we do appointments right there. And I'm like, so Andy, you know, you don't set appointments on the spot? Or he's like, no, I like them to have a day to quit. I'm like, this guy is crazy, and that's why I love him. That's why I love him. So you got that, and then he's like, look, I need them time to quit. And then here's what Andy does. He's like, here's what I do, Wes. I give them my schedule, and I let them fill it. If they can't fill it, God bless them, I got to find someone else who's willing to fill it. Now, I come through where I'm like, I got to set the appointment. I got to call them. And then I tell Andy that. He's like, why would I call someone's mama? Like, why would I do that? You know, if they can't get me in front of their best friend, their brother, their mama, you know, I can't do it. And I struggle with that for a long time. And it's not until maybe sometime last March where we went to Get Big or Go Home. We're sitting there listening to Andy, where my wife and I, we had a real conversation. We're like, you know what? Look, listen, we're weeding everything that's not Andy, it's out. Everything that's not Andy is out. If he doesn't set appointments, we don't set appointments. You know, for the people, they have to get us in front of people. And that's a system where people are bringing people. That's why Andy says, here's the people I work with. People who put me in front of hot market people who come to everything, not some things, everything, and people that bring people to meetings. Those are the people he works with. So if you can't put them in front of hot market people, there's nothing we can do. If you don't come to everything, why would we think you're serious to work with? So that don't happen. And if you can't bring people to a meeting, well, once again, Andy says, God bless you. And then I had to be like, you know what? I accept that. Andy, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we went from struggling, we're all around the place, like, you know, can't figure this thing out, to like, you know, as we started perfecting his system where, you know, 2 months ago, we had 2 brand new people come in. They set all their own appointments. I told them, hey, I had to have faith in the system, right? And that's the hardest thing because, once again, you're going off your brain. But I realize Andy's brain needs to be my brain. So everything he says, I have to do. So I said, you know what? We're going to try this thing out. I told my wife, look, we ain't doing anything that we've known before. We're doing everything Andy does. And so now these 2 brand new people come in, and I'm like, all right, well, here's my schedule. And here's the times I'm available. Well, let's get me in front of people. You think you could do that? They're like, yes, we can. And by golly, do you know, by golly, I don't think y'all have heard that in a few years. By golly, do you know that they put me in front of enough people that I had 2 separate direct double-digit legs? We did close to over 30 recruits with those 2 people because they set their own appointments. That means they was bringing me people. And so your job is to set an appointment, and I'm going to do it. It's crazy. In my career, I've never, with as much appointments as I've set for people, I've never, ever had someone come in their first 30 days with me setting appointments that it's done. Can you believe that? But with Andy's system, it's work. And we talked to the team. We told the team about that. And so ultimately, you know, people ask Andy, what about the sales? And then Andy says, what about the promotions? I'm like, but the sales, like the F&A, you know, what about it? He's like, don't people got to get promoted? I'm like, okay. And then boom, it came to me, the 4-point game plan that Andy talks about. What's the 4-point game plan? One, you recruit to build. So you're not recruiting to sell in people's market, which I think a lot of people in Primerica does, but not here. You recruit to build. Then you bring them to a meeting. Everybody comes to a meeting, right? That's who Andy works with. Everyone comes to a meeting. Number 3, you get your personal program. So where does the sales program? Look, personal programs get done. And number 4, you race them to district. You race them to district, which is all part of Andy's system. So you think about racing a district, the sales, whatever your guidelines are, 3 by 6, you know, 3 recruits by 6 sales, whatever it is, those sales are coming as a result of people getting promoted, not because you're raping somebody's market. And so that's the thing. That's the thing about Andy is he sets it up that it's always for a purpose. It's not for a reason. And as a result of following that play and seeing that vision, we went over 100 recruits for the first time because of definitely buying off to it. I had meetings with the team. And I'm telling, hey, the number one thing we got to do is focus on promoting district leaders. He said he promoted 60 district leaders in 18 months, and that's what got him to 80 RVPs in 5 years. And that the groundwork to his hierarchy came from that. So, you know, we said that's what we're going to do. So far, we're at 15 district leaders so far that we've promoted. And by June, hey, that's our time to get to 60. So he said if we did what he did, we'll put ourselves in position to get paid $1 million a month. I'm going to say that again. $1 million a month.
Come on.
That's nuts. I can't believe that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to believe it. Because if Andy, he's already done it, he sold us a vision of going through the numbers, not to the numbers. See, if you got 1 or 2 people, you're going to the numbers. It's you and one other person. You're doing this RVP run, or hey, we got to make it happen. But when you got masses of people, layers of players, you go through those numbers. That's why he came up with SNSD. See, don't just do. He's 29 first. It was a 40-year-old business. So we're like, you know, if we do 100 first, that's a 120-year-old business. See, we figured he gave the groundwork, which is promoting RVPs. In order to do that, you got to buy off on the double-digit recruiting message. Well, 3 direct double-digit recruiting legs, that's 50 recruits. That means you can start promoting some RVPs. 6 direct double-digit, that's 100 recruits. And then he told me one time, he's like, oh, it's cute. Wes, you did 100 recruits. What, that took you a month? Well, let me check. I did 100 recruits every day this month. I'm like, thank you, Andy. Thank you for the confidence booster. I'm gonna go home and stay in the dark and not come out. You know, so think about that. So double-digit recruiting, SNSD, doubling everything up. So don't go to the numbers, go through them, and that's what he's taught us. And that's why we're excited about the system, because we're the poster child. Not only we went to over 100 recruits, and then a few weeks later we went over 100,000, and then 2 weeks after that we promoted a regional vice president. Why? All because of Andy's system. And I was struggling at first, trying to accept it, right? You know, but here's the thing. The thing is, if you're going to earn the right to call someone coach and be a player runs the play. And that's what we decided to do. So appreciate that time. Man, I dropped heat on that thing.
Give it up.
Awesome.
Wes.
All right. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I have a question, though. Now, I heard you say it in there real quick, Wes, but so you made money on this system, right? Because a lot of people don't understand the recruiting, and then how do I make money? That was a question that we got one time. How do I make money on that system? But you made money?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've made the most money we've ever made. I mean, you think about over the last 30 days, we made $60,000. I'm sorry, $30,000. Look at, hey, that's forward thinking right there.
Yes,
forward thinking.
In the future.
Good night. You know, so $30,000. I mean, if you think, my wife told me, like, she was a teacher, and $40,000 was her salary. So we made more basically in 65 days or whatever it is than she made all year as a teacher, all because of the system of getting people to district, promoting this, and he has something on his board. I mean, basically per district, you're making like 2, 3, 4 grand per district. So imagine that. And people think personal on your own pen is right. Let me tell you right now, you're gonna get tired, but when you're promoting people and they're learning how to promote people, that's the massive, passive, reoccurring income that Andy's talking about. And that's what we're following. So we've made the most money we've ever made in our career because of following his system.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's incredible. Thank
Great
you.
job,
Thank you for
Les.
coming in. Our first live guest,
I know.
right? Yay! So you guys, we are going to make all 3 parts of Andy's system available, both video and audio. We will tell you on social, and here on Tuesday we'll send emails when it's ready to go out and where you can get it, along with the presentation by itself, right? As an MP3 and as a QuickTime. So
Yep.
you guys can present it and do what you would like with it.
Yep.
Wes did kill it.
Yep, and you're going to get to watch that if you missed the top of the show. We're going to be showing Andy's presentation front to back at the end to close out the show, right at 8:30 Eastern. So, what else we got?
On to the rally. If you'll take care of that for a second, I'm going to do something on my phone.
So yeah, rally right now, still RVPs only. I want you to tell us who you are. RVPs, tell us who you are and tell us how many people you got watching. So you got an example right there. RVP Young, Andy Young, right? He got 999 people watching. And then he's texting the text line 404-465-1830. So send those out. We got how many more segments we got?
Not many.
Yeah, maybe.
Trish, can you give us an update of who's
Yeah. So
reporting?
we
Sure, hold on, sorry. I'm just over here.
She's over here counting.
I'm out.
Yeah, you got about 15 minutes before we're going to pick the top team, so you want to get that in now.
All right, who you got?
So we have 38 reporting in. Rubio, Florinord, Lane, Andrews, Wiley Browse, Bynum, Malone, Espinosa, Stebner, King, Langston, McGinnis, Marshall, Red, Crenshaw, Doris Rodriguez, Robert Berryman, Lewis, Ottinger, Gupta, Thomas, Walker, hold on, I gotta scroll down, Muse, Julian, Luzneris, Charles, Hall, Tejea, Robinson, Roach, Peel, Nguyen, Snavely, I do this every week, Cheeks, Cofer, Ray Rodriguez, Mary Hayes, and Richard Shaw.
All right,
There we go.
excellent. Excellent.
So, yep.
Okay, let me remind you, right? If you are an RVP that's a team of 1 yourself, please report your number, right? This is how we get engaged. This is how we begin the
Yep.
system, right? We look at everybody, we count everybody, we think it's awesome. We call your name out if you report, and it'll be great.
Yep.
It'll be great, and we'll see, maybe there'll be a new rally winner. I was kind of trying to look over her shoulders at the numbers. But she was quick, and we didn't see them all. All right, I think we have a little promo about an event that's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Never miss a meeting, even if there's a hurricane.
Y'all want more? We decided we want more.
It's gonna be a great school, everybody.
Kick it.
You want more, you gotta ask for more.
This is for the studs. This ain't for the GP, the general population.
What you need to hear, what you need to know to build your business big.
And I want you to know it doesn't get better than what you've got.
This is the place, this is the time, and you're the one.
You have to decide. You literally have to kill all other options because this is so worth it.
Oh,
I'm pumped
I'm
for Keystone.
so pumped for Keystone. We have such a great time in Keystone. Last year we had over 1,200 people.
Yep.
We're going to Keystone.
It's happening.
So it's happening.
No matter what.
Here's your
And
registration
I'm
information.
normally wearing a mask at Keystone anyway. You know, it's
Yeah,
like a scarf.
It's already
whatever.
like it's cold there.
Yeah.
All right, can we go back to that graphic one more time? December 3rd through the 6th. some great flights right now for cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Go ahead and call them, check on the rooms and everything, the condos that are available. It's a great team place because you can get condos with lots of rooms. So it's like being inside a snow globe. You can't
really
stretch your own vision.
It's like the village under the Christmas tree.
It is.
It's
pretty awesome.
I love Keystone.
So there will be another big event coming up at the end of September, but we're not quite ready to give you guys any details yet. But stay tuned on Tuesdays, email and social as those become available.
Yeah.
So big event to event. So we have with us some big event people who love big events. They plug in all the time. They're growing their business using them. And our first one up is Linda Muse. Linda, if you'd introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. I am, as she said, Linda Muse from Richmond, Virginia, representing Team Inspire. We get inspired every week by being a part of this. We miss Winston-Salem and seeing all you guys so much. We've got, we've been around for a while, so I can say this with a lot of conviction. We have lots and lots of friends in Primerica, Get Big and Go Home, in this team. But the other thing that's been so inspiring is seeing all these new RVPs getting promoted. It just really sells us the dream all over again. So that's been super, seeing all the new players on the team. We are a small RVP, but Darla reminded me this afternoon, there's no really small RVP. And I've heard John Addison say that over and over for the years, and also Glenn always says that. And we're always pushing and striving to get more and more people apart and growing our attendance from event to event. So I wrote down just a couple of things. Many of them are repetitive of what's already been said this evening, is that I don't have to do this alone. I don't have to sell the dream by myself. And people plug in and click with different personalities, so they may not all be the same. So it's great being able to do this through Zoom and through the YouTube channel to connect with everyone, not selling it by yourself. The other thing is it's simple. It is so incredibly simple. And the play that they're going to hear is the same play we're teaching in the office over and over and over, which is the 4-point game plan that Wes went over. So, I mean, when you have your team hear the same thing that you're preaching to them, it's sort of like you're having children and they don't listen to you, but they go to the place next door or to their friends next door, and the parents say it there and the kids pay attention. So they're hearing that same thing over and over. The third thing is making the events the number one. I mean, having that environment every single week instead of every other month now in Winston-Salem has been so powerful in helping us be consistent and grow our numbers. I mean, there's no excuse for someone not to be able to plug in online. It's not. Convenience can't be, it could be simpler as far as being able to plug in. And then best of all, in making that run, I think the really most important of all, and I've heard Andy say this over and over and over, when you're running and you want to get promoted to whether it's RVP, SVP, NSD, SNSD, you've got to run with players and people who are consistently plugging in. And you might have heard him say, some of them going to have NNRN written across their forehead. And NNRN means no, not right now. It doesn't mean that they're not good people and that you don't enjoy being around them, and they may be friends, but they may not be ready right now. So it's important to know who is ready, and I think Zoom is a great way to figure that out. So thanks again. It's an honor to be on. We love you guys. We know this is a lot of work, and we appreciate it so much.
Thank you. We were having a great time. I do have to say, though, when we got together in March, I'm not sure we thought we'd still be here in August, but here we are. But it's been a ton of fun, a ton of fun. All right, Lydell Walden, thank you for joining us. Are you there, Lydell? There you are. Hey, buddy.
How's it going? How's it going?
Good.
All right, thanks for having me.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell us why you plug into the big events and how they've helped you with your business.
Okay. All right, my name's Lydell Walden. I'm a regional vice president out of Chesapeake, Virginia, second generation. My father, Glenn Walden, has been with the company since 1988. So that's a little background on myself. We started plugging in to Get Big or Go Home. It's probably been about 2 years ago now. I was a regional leader, and we were just trying to break through 100 recruits a month, and we just couldn't break through. And then we finally went to Get Big or Go Home. And the first month we went down to Get Big or Go Home, we broke through 100 recruits and ended up getting up to 164 before I ended up becoming a regional vice president. Since becoming a vice president, went on and got my $100,000 ring within 6 months of becoming a vice president. Promoted out a regional vice president. Then also just recently got a second diamond on 200,000. And a lot of it has to do with the Get Big or Go Home environment. It just takes you to another level. The competition there is fierce. You got to bring your A game. It's the best of the best of the best. It's the top recruiters, the top players in Primerica. And this is one of the things that what my dad always taught me growing up in the business, is which is part of the 4-point game plan is, there's cycles of growth. So you got your daily one-on-ones that you do. You got your daily prospecting. That's like breathing. And then he said you got your weekly opportunity meeting, your training classes. That's like eating. And then you got your big events like Get Big or Go Home. That's like sleeping. And see, if you take any one of those 3 life cycles out, eating, sleeping, or breathing, you're going to die. And the same thing is so in our business. If you stop prospecting or doing one-on-ones, you're going to die. If you stop going to your weekly meetings, you're going to die. If you stop going to the big events, you're going to die. So you got to make sure you continue to cycle through those. And Get Big or Go Home has been tremendous for us. We went out to Keystone last year. We had a ball out there because you get to meet different people, different leaders. We plug into all the webinars that's going on right now. So our team is jacked up. Even though we can't physically be in the building, it's just like being there as close as you're going to get to it right now with everything that's going on. And that's one of the things we focus on. You got to get people to big events. That's something that you got to master. You got to master moving people from event to event, just like you master setting appointments, just like you master prospecting, just like you master the presentation. You got to master moving people to the big events, because big decisions are made at big events. So you got to sell out to it. Who you got to get to the big events? You got to get everybody to the big events. You got to get there. You got to get your spouse there. You got to get your teammates there. You got to get their spouses there, their partners there. You got to get everybody's there, because long range, that's what's going to help you build this business. That's what's going to make you or break you. So you got to make sure you're plugged into anything. And you got to be sold out. You got to be excited. You got to be pumped up, jacked up, fired up, super excited about the next event. And you got to load up and get as many people there, even if it's online through a webinar. You got to get as many people on. And I always tell my team, big events is when you see Primerica a little different. See, when we sit down with somebody at the kitchen table, that's like, they see the business one way. I relate that to like high school basketball. It's a good environment, good crowd, things of that nature. And then when you go to a op meeting, that's like going to a college championship game, because you see at another level, gives you a different perspective. Okay. And then you go to a big event, which is like the NFL, the Super Bowl. And when you go to the Super Bowl, that's a whole nother event. And that's what it's like when you go to Get Big or Go Home. And then another example I try to use is, think about this. Let's say you walked into a McDonald's 50 years ago and you see one of your best friends at McDonald's, they're behind the counter and they're wearing this funny hat and they got all this grease on their shirt and they flipping burgers, but they pumped up and fired up about flipping those burgers. See, the difference between you and them is, they've gone behind the scenes. They get to work with Ray Kroc. See, they know it's not business as usual. See, they're looking at a multi-million-dollar business. See, all you see is the grease in the hamburger. See, Get Big or Go Home is like getting behind the scenes with a Ray Kroc. You got a Andy Young, you got a Gus Gonzalez, a Peggy Hightower, and there's so many other different leaders. I don't want to leave anybody out, but that's how you get behind the scenes is to the big event, is you got to plug in. So thanks again, Dollar, for having me on.
Thank you. That was awesome. What a great explanation. That is exactly what we're doing. You got to get plugged in so you're running all the parts.
Yep.
Right? So that was awesome. Next up, one of my most favorite people, Joe Red. If you'd introduce yourself, Joe, and tell us about the events and why you keep plugged into them.
Thank you, Darla. Joe Red from Chicago by way of South Carolina and then Atlanta. I tell you, I've been doing big events for 30 years. Started when I was 4. I'm kidding. But you know, West killed it a while ago, just totally knocked it out of the park. And the part of the system that, you know, the 4-point game plan, what's Andy always said, once a person gets in, now they're in the system, they got to have the big, you know, the big events part of that system. And he said, you know, business overview, follow up, keep that simple, and then get them to a big event. It expands your vision and it expands your dreams. Number two, you know, your people won't, you know, go where leaders won't lead. So you got to be plugged in so that you can actually take people and have them expecting and experiencing the great places. Number three, put yourself in a position to be in the presence of people who started where you're starting and now run multi-million-dollar businesses. And number four, allows you to jumpstart, you know, for the next year. I mean, that's what I love about Keystone. It's our favorite event. We've always done Aspen and Keystone since, you know, the early 90s. And then it allows you to build amazing relationships. That's how we built relationships with Andy and with Darla and with Matt and all the many other people. I'll tell you two stories real quick. At a big event, I got to hear Kenny Chesney's longest concert ever. He played Sammy Hagar's birthday party for 4 hours. He played at Key West, which is, you know, like Keystone, Key West. He played there for 4.5 hours. But my first big event where I met Andy Young in 1991 was Fort Worth, Texas. I had to sell a $95 Joe Montana rookie card. I looked it up on eBay a while ago before I came on. I can buy that card for $99. I sold it for $95. I can buy it for $99 right now. I met Andy Young, and I saw a vision. I had to sleep on the floor, but I mean, lots of people that won pro golf tournaments slept on the floor. And, you know, I've been paid over $3 million, not counting stock. And that's just income with the company since I made that decision, go to the big event. So you need to be in Keystone. It's going to rock. I mean, there will be no Corona out there. I'm just telling you, no COVID out there. I mean, there'll be lots of Corona, but no COVID. Okay. So thanks for allowing us on.
Oh, Joe, that was great. Thank you very much. Yes, I went to Fort Worth, 1991. It was the first meeting with Pete Dawkins. There we go. All right, enough said about that.
Thanks, everybody, for your hot two.
Yeah, thank you. Those are awesome. I'm liking those.
Yep.
I'll do those again. All right, we're going to do one more call. This is not the two. Can you go back to the rally graphic before that one, Matt? That.
Yeah, so we're not pulling the top two
Not
just
yet.
So we're giving you one last segment.
Yep, there we go.
For RVPs to report.
Thank you.
How many people they got watching from their base shop right now.
Yep.
So there's the text number. You get the text number out, 404. Whoop.
Never miss a meeting.
Whoop.
Come on, man.
Come on.
404-465-1830. Like we don't have it memorized. Come on.
I don't.
Right.
I'm obviously a loser who hasn't been paying attention. Yeah, so
all right.
Get that in there. Tell us who you are, how many people you got watching. Just got one more minute, and then you're going to have to report the top two base shops here in just a minute. So just hang tight.
All right, hang tight. We're going to watch a video from our founder, Art Williams.
Folks, you've got to learn to compete. See, I really believe life will give you what you compete for and what you fight for. I think I was so fortunate to have played under winning coaches in a winning situation, because I think in a good situation with good coaches, athletics teaches you something about teamwork that I personally don't think you can learn anywhere else. I think it's one of the great lessons in preparing you to win in business in America today. And I see people that grew up, like I used to meet with my football team at the victory meeting Thursday before we played on Friday night. And the last thing I told him, I said, now fellas, look, you got to be prepared to win tomorrow. Now, if you think those guys in the wrong color jerseys are going to roll over and play dead, you're going to get the shock of your life. Because you know what they're going to try to do? They're going to try to knock your dadgum head off. Now, if you want to win, you got to put that uniform on and strap it on tight, and you got to be ready to fight. They're not going to give you this game. Well, see, we grew up in that kind of environment. And yet I see adults now go out there every day. They put their uniform on. Think about this now, folks. They put their uniform on. They get up and go to work, and they just take it. They just take whatever crap comes along. They just roll by the punch it, roll with the punch it, flow with the... You can't do that. See, everybody would love to be wealthy. Everybody would love to be successful. Everybody would love to be financially independent. But if you're unwilling to go out there and compete for that, then folks, it won't be yours. You got to go out there, put your uniform on, and fight, and drive, and push. You get up and go to work. You bounce back from defeat. You keep fighting. You don't let anything whip you. I see people right now today at AO with frustrates the stink out of me. I used to have my football team in our locker room. When you came in, we had our goal was to be state champ. That was our goal. Like your goal, I hope, is to be financially independent, okay? And you put a dollar figure that. That should be your driving purpose in being with A.O. Williams, if you're full-time especially. Well, you're not going to accomplish that goal, and we couldn't accomplish this goal in 2 or 3 years. I mean, you got to work up to that, right? And now once you have your dream, once you have your big goal, then you win by having little goals that you can accomplish in 30 days or 90 days, right? And what you got to have a goal of is getting better every week, every month. You just get better, right? And then if you keep getting better, then all of a sudden you're going to win. Okay? The last thing I reminded our kids before we went out Thursday, before we went out to do battles on Fridays, I had goals for them. I said, now fellas, if we go out now tomorrow and we have a great effort, you play better than you've ever played, and we have a great offensive effort, we beat them by 21 points, or we have a great defensive effort and win and we don't let them score, then we've gotten better and we're closer to our goal, and we're going to reward ourselves on Monday. And what we do is go out in shorts on Monday, just have a light workout and loosen up, and you know there's not a greater feeling in the world than to really work hard and go out there and play good and kill the competition, you know? And then Monday you're going out there in shorts and you're prancing around, you've had your name in the newspaper, your little girlfriend up there on the hill looking at you, you know? Man, that's living, you know? So I said, you go out there and play good tomorrow and kill the competition. We go out in shorts on Monday. I said, now let's say we go out there tomorrow and just show up to work and we just give an average, ordinary effort and we don't beat them by 21 points or we let them score. We go out in full pads on Monday. And we have one of those long, drawn-out, tough practices, you know, 3 or 4 hour jobs, where instead of running 10 or 20 wind sprints that normally kill you, we run 40, you know. Now, let's say you go out there and you get beat tomorrow night. I'll see you full pad Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. True story. See, that's the way you've got to, you can't go. I see people down in our business right now where they go out. Let's say your goal is in your district or division or in your region is maybe last month you had 10 sales and 4 recruits, let's say, okay? This month, they'll make 8 sales and 2 recruits. And they're just ho-hum about it. They just say, well, I had a bad month. I'm sorry, honey, things were a little tough this month. It'll get better next month. And they don't do anything different. And they're on their way out of business. Because, see, you just got your butt beat. See, the scoreboard says you're going downhill. You understand that? You just got beat. And if you do the same things that you were doing when you got beat, folks, you're going to get beat next week. And you're going to get beat the next week, and you're going to get beat the next week. You're going to start losing string, and you're going to be out of business. So when you get beat, what you've got to do is immediately punish yourself and immediately do more to get you back on a winning streak. You've got to learn how to compete. See, you got to understand that in sales, income is a result of doing the right things on the front end. If you get a $2,000 paycheck this month and that's what you needed to make, then folks, that $2,000 is paying you for things you did in the past, right? I understood early in the ball game that you've got to manage activity. If you worry about paychecks, you're going to get killed in this business. The 2 things that generate paychecks for you is recruits and policy pickups. And every week, if you've got tons of recruits and tons of policy pickups, your paycheck is going to be okay. I'll bet you, folks, it's been 12 or 13 or 14 years since I've looked at a paycheck, since I've looked at a commission statement. Everybody in this room probably studied the commission statements more than I have. Because I understood early in the ball game and that's back when I wasn't making no money. I understood that I was on the verge of being out of business all the time, you know, and I didn't have time to sit there and worry about those paychecks, you know. But I had to get out there and recruit and pick up pilots and keep that hopper full. And I found out that as long as I worked at the right things, the paychecks took care of themselves. And when I started sitting there worrying about the wrong things, my paychecks went down. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say you're a new RVP or you're a district or division leader right now. I think what you ought to measure in a reward and punishment program is your personal activity. And I think you ought to work on recruits and policy pickups. Let's say in your division, last month you had 4 recruits and 15 sales, okay? Well, that's really not important right now for you. What's important is how much personal activity you had, okay? So I had weekly goals, and what I did was this. I looked at my activity from 9 o'clock a.m. on Monday until Friday at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Now, I wanted to accomplish my goals in that time period. And if we didn't have a fast start school or something on Saturday and Sunday, then if I did good, if I won, like I gave my football team in shorts on Monday, I'd take off and spend time with the family. Now, if you're working on Saturday, it's a great day to work now. We're doing a lot of fast start school, a lot of opportunity meetings, a lot of training programs, a lot of times to work, good time to work with your part-timers because many of them are off, okay, and they can go with you on Saturday. Then you would reward yourself on another day. You take Wednesday off or Thursday or whatever, okay? But reward yourself if you do good. So here's what I did. Friday at 5 o'clock, I would look at my I didn't care what the organization did. I would look at my personal activity, and let's say that week I had one recruit and 3 policy pickups. But it all kind of red flags and bells went off, right? I just got beat. The scoreboard said I got my butt beat, and I've got to change something right now, or I'm going to go on a losing streak, and losing can become a habit. And folks, it'll drive you out of business, okay? And so in this business, what you have to do when you lose, you've got to punish yourself. You've got to do a ton of things in terms of activity in a short period of time. You've got to compress a lot of recruiting and a lot of policy pickups in a short period of time, and it'll thrust you back on a winning streak. And it's funny about winning. When you get a lot of momentum going, you'll win for a few weeks usually, okay? For 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and you can reward yourself. And when you lose, if you immediately punish yourself, you might have to work double hard for a week or 2, but you begin to create that'll thrust you into another winning streak, you know, for 5 or 6 or 7 weeks. And one of the things that wears me out at A.L. Williams, I see so many leaders that can't ever manufacture a ton of activity in a short period of time. They do the same crappy thing month after month after month. You can't do that. You've got to know when to juice it up, okay? When to go out there and do a ton of stuff in a short period of time. So what I did on Friday, if I got beat, what I did is I worked Saturday and Sunday afternoon, and I made up my mind that I was going to try to do twice as much the next week. I was going to try to recruit 4 people and pick up 8 sets of policies. I doubled my goals, okay? Any week or any month, when you go backwards, you've lost and you're headed out of the business, okay? You can't ever go backwards. You set goals for yourself. If you're making 10 sales a month, okay, then folks, dadgummit, next month you make 10 or 11 or 12. Next month you make 10 or 11 or 12. Don't ever make 9. Don't you ever make 9. And if you ever make 9, then you go the next month and make 11 to make up for that one, okay? Or you'll never get, does that make sense for you now? Or you'll never get to your goals, folks. It ain't easy to win, dadgummit. You've got to pay a price. You've got to compete.
Man, now we know why he is the one, right? He is like super relentless, but you know what? He won. The payoff was big.
All right, Trish.
You're up.
We got the top 2 now.
Oh, it's not top 2.
Not top 2.
It's not top 2. They're killing me.
Yay!
There's
Y'all keep at it.
55 RVPs.
55 RVPs reporting?
That's amazing. That really is good. For a Tuesday night, that is like, y'all are knocking it out of the park. But you're killing me. But it's good kill. Okay, so we've got 6 RVPs that I'm going to have to count again.
Top 6?
Top 6. I said last week I wasn't doing 6 again. Well, the numbers
Are the numbers.
Are the numbers, and I can't cut it off. So we're going to start. Daryl Julian has 52 reporting.
Daryl Julian with 52. All right.
West Florinord, 55.
Who's he?
We don't know.
West Florinord?
We don't know, and we don't
Okay.
like him either.
Aw.
Just y'all. Just kidding. Don't send me hate mail. I love him. Mary Hayes, 56.
All right. Mary Hayes, 56.
David Catan, 58.
There's somebody.
58 from David
Yeah.
Catan. There we go.
New.
Yeah.
Yay.
William Kofer, 59.
59 from
See?
Kofer.
Now you see why I couldn't cut it off.
You had to.
And Walter Charles, 68.
Ooh, Walter Charles is 68.
We only want these 6 RVPs. Please.
Call
it
their
just
last
slows me
names
down.
again.
Julian.
Florinord.
Florinord.
Hayes.
Hayes.
Catan.
Kofer.
And Walter Charles.
Walter Charles.
Okay, nobody else. Only if you are on those teams. Okay?
Yep. Those
Nobody
6 space
else.
shops.
Those
Daryl
6
Julian,
space
West
shops.
Florinord, Mary Hayes, David Catan, William Kofer, Walter Charles.
Okay.
Right now.
Awesome numbers, though, guys. Really awesome.
You have got to be quick.
Look, awesome
Yep,
numbers.
They are good numbers.
Yeah.
So here's how this works.
Quick, quick,
We
quick.
need you to get your phone out. Every single person in those 6 base shops I just talked about, get your phone out. There's your text number right there, 404-465-1830. Now, what do you write? Well, we need to know what base shop you're a part of. So put the letters RVP, put your last name of your RVP in there. So it's going to be Hayes, it's going to be Florinor, it's going to be Uridamal, Kofer, Charles, all that stuff. Then we need to know your solution number, right?
Your solution number.
Your solution number. Now, if you don't know it or you don't have one yet, you can put some X's in there or put guest. But the main critical thing is we're only going to count one count per phone number that sends us a text message. So if I took out my phone right now and just pulled up 404-465-1830 and said, RVP McKeever, and then I just started listing solution numbers one after the other, that's still only going to count as one vote.
She might delete you.
Yeah, she might even delete you. You might
She
end up
might
with a
delete
big
you.
fat 0.
You got to follow the directions.
So right now, we were going to have one solution number per telephone that sends in a text. All right?
All right, you guys. You've got to be quick, too. We are in the home stretch. We've saved the very best, although the whole show's been awesome. But
yeah, I just got something from Tammy saying it was so good. This is good.
Right. This is good. I'm missing Chris.
I know.
I love it
Chris
when he's
Gray.
here.
I need more Chris Gray sound effects.
Let's call him up and do a little sound effects library.
Yeah.
Wes to do his thing.
There we go, Wes. All right.
All right. We have the great second gen SNSD Lawrence Walker from Los Angeles, California. Thank you, Lawrence, for joining us.
You're still muted, Lawrence.
Oh, hold on. That's us.
Darla's got. There we go.
Hey, Lawrence, we're sorry you were muted just for a second. Welcome, welcome. We had such a great conversation this afternoon. I'm so glad to see you.
Me off of my time. It was up already.
You're on now. Tell us what's new. Tell us about Keystone. Tell us about events. Tell us about what you guys have been working on out there on the West Coast. Y'all just hanging out?
Oh yeah. At the beach, just doing nothing.
Yeah, I know. It'd be hard out there.
Keystone, let's start with that, man. I am excited about that event. Last year was our first year, and we ended up bringing 7 of our RVPs and just a few of our base shop. And I don't know, Andy told me about Keystone. I guess he came out to do an event for us, graced us with his presence. In a January event before Keystone, and something about the way he said, you ought to come to Keystone with us. Just got me, it resonated in my heart. Soldiers can talk to soldiers in a special way. They don't hype them up. That meeting that you had with, that you just showed with Art Williams, I was actually there. Andy was actually there. That era
That's awesome.
is the era that we come from. And when Andy said something about Keystone, I kind of said, well, you know, that's in Colorado. It's in the winter. I'm in California on the beach. We're a little soft like that when it comes down to weather. But man, I will tell you, I thought it was awesome of an idea. And I'm so glad that we went. And the fellowship with the people that we had in the you know, Johnny Lavin and I, we and Patty, we grew up together in the Dick Walker hierarchy. Then we had the Buisan family. And then Andy, you know, Andy actually grew up in the East Coast with my dad. And I started in the East Coast and would come back periodically. And so it was more like a family event. And I will tell you that we're looking forward to coming back to Keystone. I don't care how it goes down, which way it goes down. We're destined to be together and with the champions. You know, so Keystone is a big one. I'm looking forward to it, Darla. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, well, tell us what else you guys are doing out there. How have you been working your business? Are you doing only Zoom? Are you guys out face to face? Tell us what you've been building on.
Well, you know what? I usually try to get prepared for a talk when I get with Andy and any of my fellow soldiers. That is, I know that they're not looking for no speech making, you know. And if you listen to Art Williams, he's not a speech maker. He's not trying to motivate people. You either come here motivated, or you're not. And really, that's the whole business, is to find the motivated. You know, if their mom and daddy couldn't raise them, then we're not going to do it either. You're just slowing yourself down, wasting time. And so we're in a new era with Primerica that is motored by the old era principles. And I'm just excited about, you know, the blessing of our business, you know, that you know, good things happen when Primerica shows up. We're in the widows and orphan business. We're truly helpful, you know, but at the end of the day, you measure yourself in our business by cash flow. You know, the more people you help, the more money you make. And just being around and being a good Primerican and showing up to stuff and, you know, whatever you think paying the price may be, to be loyal, it really comes down to how much you're getting paid. And if you're not making money, that means you're not helping people. If you're not making big money, that means you're not helping many people. And this is an opportunity where people really need us. You know, the pandemic may have just, it's such a negative, bad thing, but the silver lining is that we're here and that our business is now virtual and that we can actually do the kind of things times 10 that we were able to do when we were trying to drive to meetings. And, you know, we could 10 times what we're all about. And so it's very exciting. Our business is exploding. Like many people in Primerica, the business is exploding because we've now found a way to do it faster. So let me just kind of get down to what I think Andy would want me to talk about as a soldier talking to other soldiers. And you got about 1,000 people on the line, so probably what I'm getting ready to say will touch maybe 300. Maybe 300, and maybe 200 or 100 would actually do it. You know, you got 55 RVPs on the line, right, that are playing. I know you got way more RVPs, but people got things to do, or they think they got things to do. But this is a business of people that decide to do this. So I'm gonna talk to you all, especially you soldiers that want to be somebody. And it starts with a contract called RVP. And I know that there are many RVPs on the line. I can't talk to you so much. You know, you've been around a long time, many of you, and you think you know what you know. I have been around a long time too. And I had a great first 9 years, I'd say, in the business. And that was the 9 years I spent with my father, who passed away in 1990. You know, I got started in 1982. He got started in 1981, and we had like a meteoric rise because he was trying to keep up with art, and I was trying to keep up with him. It wasn't about, these titles that people get stuck on. RVP was not it was a new thing back then. So it wasn't about a person. It was about a contract level, and I still think it's about a contract level. I spent maybe a decade and a half burning daylight. It was important to me, the daylight I was burning after I got started. Went to RVP to SNSD in 10 years. But that next 10-year period, I kind of got my eye off the ball. I went into management and thought I was the guy that does the recognition for everybody and tried to get more people involved. My first 10 years was the 10 years I'm going back to now. During that second 10 years, I'm 30 years in the business now, 28. During that second 10 years, I spent a lot of time with my family. I got 4 kids. If you look behind here, all the pictures, there's my office. Some people have plaques and stuff. I got pictures of my kids. And I look back and I was there at a lot of stuff. Basketball coach for the junior Lakers for my son. My daughter, one is in gymnastics. We travel all around the country with her. Kids going to colleges. We never missed the back to school night in college. I mean, we did a lot of things, but in the words of, this is hindsight now, in the words of what's my guy's name? Not Mr. Nightlinger. What was the other guy? Rooster Cogburn. You're burning daylight. Okay. And a lot of you think you have time to burn daylight, and you can burn a lot of daylight, getting out of focus on what I'm getting ready to tell you the main thing is, but you'll regret it later if you're a champion. Keep your eyes on the prize and focus. So here's what I think you really need to look at, and forget about your titles. You need to get the contract of regional vice president, and you need to get that now. And it's a contract. It's not a personality. It's 110%. Then there's other contracts after that. And I wish almost they didn't have names like senior vice president, national sales director, senior national sales director, because people get stuck on that. I know I might have been stuck on that. But at the end of the day, these contract levels come with commissionable income that open up greater and bigger doors. So it's 110, then 120, 127.5, and ultimately 152%. And if we would just kind of get rid of, which Primerica does, the way they pay you, they get rid of titles. They don't pay SVPs because they're SVPs. They pay them because they do over 50,000. They pay RVPs because they do over 10. They pay the NSDs because they do over 100, and the SNSD over 250,000 with their team. So, get past all the hype, people, and get into what the real deal is, and soldier up and fight the fight and measure yourself based on the scoreboard, the real scoreboard, like Art was talking about in that clip, that training clip, is it comes down to your income. And so let me just give you the bottom line message, which is get your RVP contract. And then once you get your RVP contract, duplicate that with other people over and over and over and over. Never get too impressed with yourself. Never get too down on yourself. Just stay at it. The inevitability of building a super hierarchy is here. I will tell you that. My upline direct is Mike Sharp. And he actually bought out my dad's upline. Now, back in that time, when Pop died, we didn't have ownership. And I'm going to just talk about ownership, then I'll give you the bottom line. Ownership is a wonderful thing, especially when you didn't have it and you wish you did have it. But now that people do have ownership, I think you're getting confused by thinking ownership is an award. Nobody can give ownership to you. You have to take your ownership. But at the end of the day, ownership is 300,000. Yeah, you made 300,000, but it's the value of your business without you. And this is where your hierarchy, and this is where your your building mentality comes from. What would happen if you weren't in the picture is the way you need to build your business. You know, our upline again sold his business to Mike Sharp. And I think he sold it for a 15-year deal. He had 7 regional VPs direct to him, and none of us really did what he was talking about. We were independent. We were doing our own thing. But when he sold, Mike paid him $30,000 a month, every month for 15 years. And of course, it's the sale of a business, so it's capital gain tax. I might be talking too much for some of you, but that's ownership. When you own something that you can sell, that's worth something without you, that means you got to have a team, and you got to go to work on that mentality, like right up front. That's got to be your everything. Now, Art talked about recruiting and selling. So you aim for the recruit and you hit the sale. I got him a recruit last week, got him started on his Fast Start business plan, got him inviting a bunch of people to the next business and money meeting that we're having, did his F&A and closed his business. He's spending $356 a month. That's $4,000 a year. Now at a 110% contract, you know, I made $4,000. Now, how many of those you got to do to stay in business? You know, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, everybody can do that once you get to RVP. But the key is you got to be an RVP, and it's not a personality contest. It is a contract level. So, in closing, you get 1 recruit. Your goal is to get 10 through that 1. You're double digiting through every new person you bring on board. You'll come back and get all the sales. Out of the 10 that 1 leads you to, you're going to get 3 dogs that can hunt. 3 people that are ready to go, that are going to do it. And you take those 3 and you get them 10. And if you do that over and over and over, that's where the double digit, a lot of people get, you got to do double digit. You got to do double digit through people. And that'll keep you on a fast track. That'll get you in a position to where you have enough directs. My current upline is Mike Sharp. And in 2007, Mike Sharp made $5 million, set the company record. Now that's $6.2 million today. So that's $500,000 a month in terms of today money. I want you to think about that. $500,000 a month. Now, when you think about Mike Sharp, you think about Andy Young, you think about all the greats. What do you think about? Well, let me tell you what you need to think about. You need to think about the number of directs that he or she has. That's who they are. Mike Sharp has 25 direct RVPs. That's the difference between him and everybody else. At the time, that's all he had, but they were independent. They were go-getters, and he was paid $500,000. You get paid more for finding champions. Last thing I'm gonna tell you is the deal about champions. And Darla, I think I'm over. Yeah, I think I am over time. You find champions, you don't make them. You find them. You can't develop them. I don't know what you're thinking about. You're doing with, you're not a psychiatrist, you're not a marriage counselor. You find the champions, dadgummit, but the champions are out there right now. This pandemic has really shook people up. I'm talking about business owners. 90% of the people work for small businesses, and a third of them not going to be able to come back. I would be recruiting the business owners right now. You look at 55% of the people that work for those businesses aren't coming back. There are so many go-getters that are on the street today, and we can zoom to get them. The era of today is maybe 10 times bigger of the Mike Sharp era. Now, I would say Andy Young era, but Andy's era is starting now. What's going on with the get big or go home is the new era. You've arrived at the right place in the right time, Now the thing is, are you going to be coachable and just do it, or are you just going to be around and watch other people do it? It's going to be big. It's going to be really big. So I look forward to seeing all of you in Keystone, I guess the next time we get together.
Yes, yes, that was awesome.
Appreciate it so much,
No
Lawrence.
doubt.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was awesome.
Thank
Trish,
you.
Trish was just saying it's amazing. Let's give Lawrence a little round of
All
applause
right.
here.
Woo-hoo!
Always good. Always brings the heat.
Thank you.
I was waiting for the guy that screams at you.
Oh, we got one of
That's
those.
good. Come on. Scared me last time. He scared me, Chris.
All right, one more time for the come on, and let's thank you so much. Enjoy your evening out there, and we will see you in December.
Absolutely.
Talk to
Enjoyed
you
it.
later. All right, we have made it. Trish, have you been frantically counting over there?
The six base shops reporting over 50
What the
each.
heck, right? That's it.
Yep.
So let's see where we're at.
All right. So David Catan came in with 27.
That's
David
pretty
Catan
good.
with 27.
Yep.
Pretty good.
And then Wes.
Dave, we saw your people in the comments
on YouTube comments.
Reporting on the YouTube comments. You're gonna have to coach them up on the
text.
Wes has been doing like scrimmages on Saturdays.
Practicing.
Just to get people practiced up on the mechanics of the thing.
Yep. The Wes and Shay come in at 32.
Okay, Wes and Shay with 32.
Then
Need a little more practice.
Yeah. Yeah. Then Mary Hayes is at 44.
Mary Hayes got 44. All right.
Daryl Julian came in at 46.
Daryl Julian with 46.
William Kofer came in at 50.
That's
William
good.
Kofer
That
with
was very
50.
good.
There's
There
only
you
one
go.
number one.
And there's one number one for the 7th time.
Oh, no.
But not in a row now. We got to start
Yeah,
a new
but
streak.
still.
Yeah.
So Walter Charles at 67.
Way to go,
right,
Walter
Walter.
Charles.
Yep. Way to go, Walter.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you all for
I
playing
forgot
the
my
game.
drum roll.
Oh, sorry. Now you can do it. Walter Charles.
Walter Charles, 7-time
Oh
champion.
my gosh, that's crazy. Congratulations, you know the drill. I don't even need to say anything else but
Yep.
that.
Ready to go.
And thank you for playing.
Are we doing it immediately after still?
Immediately.
Okay, just want to
Yes.
make sure.
So thank you for playing. Thanks for joining the rally and like really engaging and keeping the competition up. We will be back together. We were trying to talk about earlier, what was harder, to get your people to text or to get them all to stand up when we're in the big room? I don't know. Trish says they're both equally
And
hard.
to count and sit down.
Exactly.
After, when I point at
Say
you.
your number and sit down. Yeah, kind of missing that. All right, so that's what's coming up. We've got great things. We'll be letting you know on email. If you've not gone out to Get Big or Go Home, please go there and give me your email address so we can send that out.
GetBigOrGoHome.com.
Yes, you're correct. Social, Instagram, Facebook. We do a little bit of Twitter.
Yep.
We send some stuff out there, but mostly Instagram, Facebook. And we have a special treat for you. We're going to play Andy's presentation beginning to end, exactly how he does it. No commentary, no anything. It's 19 minutes, 10 seconds.
Including a little conversation with Darla.
He gets a recruit out of the deal,
real
right?
Quick.
Gets a recruit out of the deal. And then we'll follow up with his follow-up later on.
Yep. So we're going to go through the whole thing in the next couple of weeks. And like she said earlier, keep an eye out. We're going to be posting this video that you're just about to see so you can look at it any time. We'll also be posting the audio of it so that you can listen to it in the car, get that memorization going on.
And to help you remember why he does what he does, we're going to also post all 3 parts from Unicoi.
Yep.
So you guys will have all those, both audio and video. So watch your social,
Coach's
watch
philosophy.
your email for that. Oh, that's good.
I think that's what he
Big
called
words.
it.
Is that what he called it?
He called it Coach's Mindset. That's what
There
he
you
called
go.
it.
All right, you guys. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be rolling the video right now. Bye.
All right, our 2020 presentation. Here we go from start to finish. So, Darla, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So, you from Atlanta?
I am. I'm originally from Michigan, though.
Oh yeah, what part?
Well, I grew up outside of Flint.
Flint. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
North of Detroit, huh?
Yeah.
Over by the Thumb, is that right?
Yep, kind of.
Okay, cool. So did you go to school up there? Or?
I did. I went to Michigan State.
Oh, so not a Go Blue fan, huh?
No, Go Green fan.
Go Green.
Go
All right.
Sparty.
Yeah. East Lansing. That's
Yes,
cool. All
great
right.
place.
Yep. Any other things you did growing up or?
Sailing.
Sailing?
Spent a lot of time
really?
in the Great Lakes. Yep.
Wow. So you're a pretty good sailor?
I probably was. Not so much anymore.
That's great, though. Okay. Well, good. Originally, I'm from the Washington, D.C. area.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in a family that talked a lot about money. We don't have any money. Money doesn't grow on trees, and anybody who has money is going to hell. So we heard a lot about money. So never flew on a plane, never stayed in a hotel the entire time growing up. Not everybody was able to go to college and get a degree in my family. So I'm looking at what my options might be, and realized I was big when they weighed us all in front of each other. Like in second grade, I was 110 pounds. I realized I was probably going to be bigger than some of the other kids. So football might be my ticket. Maybe I get a scholarship. So later on, I started working out with the Washington Redskin and Manny Sistrunk, and got my strength up, and got recruited by 37 colleges. So had scholarships offers, and took my first flight to Virginia Tech down in Blacksburg, Virginia, and got the tour, the first lobster tail, stayed in a hotel. Had a rental car at 17 years old, which I'm pretty sure is still illegal. Took a few tours, but I went to Wake Forest University. Went down there, crammed 4 years of college into 5, double majored, political science and Spanish, and did actually a semester at the University of Andes in Bogota, Colombia. So came back and I was offered a position to translate Spanish for Wachovia and Roadways, a trucking company. Saw both those opportunities and wasn't really impressed when I kind of owned my own business but didn't have any money. As a kid, I'd cut grass with other people's lawnmowers, and so I bought my own lawnmower. So just always, looking for some way to, make some money and do something. So came out and I saw this business here, Primerica. So are you familiar with Primerica?
I've heard of it, yeah.
What have you heard?
It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
There was something else before.
Okay, yep. Yeah, that's a big corporate office over in Duluth,
Right,
Georgia. Yeah, so
right.
you're within that area. So anyway, Primerica is a company that's 43 years old. We started in 1977, had a high school football coach who basically got mad because his mom was sold the wrong kind of insurance. His father passed away, and he had already gone to college, but she had 2 boys left, never had a job, so now she only has $10,000, $15,000 worth of coverage. He gets mad, ends up writing a master's paper about it, and starts a company, ultimately, which is now our company, to right a wrong, which is how to get the better coverage for the dollar. So I'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
Okay.
But 43-year-old company, and we've had some great opportunities over the years. In 1989, he sold the company to basically what was Citi, one of the biggest banks in the world. So we were owned by them for 21 years. So we were a Primerica member of Citi. And a lot of people would think that's glamorous and that's great, but anytime a company comes in to buy your company, it's typically not a good thing after the honeymoon. It's like, yeah, we're skimming everything, quarterly earnings, cutting this, cutting that. They'll cut anything they want, and then they're buying other companies. So it got to the point where we're sending them hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. We did very well. We always did, even during the up and down times. And most of us didn't really like that culture. Then 08, all the banks crashed. No bank too big to fail. So Citi went from like $70 to 99 cents in a free fall. They were borrowing money from tens of billions of dollars, TARP money from the government, and all the banks did it. So it's not just them, and they all paid it back. So that story came out okay. But they were kind of teetering, and we saw an opportunity to basically buy our way out. We figured out a way, raised $2 billion, and in 2010, 33 years in, from 1977, we did an IPO, initial public offering, and we came out Primerica New York Stock Exchange Company independent. So we came out at $15 a share. I know 2 days ago we're trading around 120, so that's 8 times in 10 years, which we're very proud of. So it's been a very successful IPO. And the whole point was now we're a 43-year-old company. Wall Street looks at us as right now, 10 years later, as a 10-year-old company, even though we're 43 years old. So 33 years down the road, we made a decision. We could see if we could double the size of the company in the next 10 years. Got our freedom. We're going to go out there, put some of the money we were sending them, put that to work with people in the business and invest. And it's been a great run, and we're on track to double the size of the company. It's been amazing. Matter of fact, our best 5 months, I know in my 40-year career, are March, April, May, June, and July of 2020, which is, you're either doing well or you're not, but we're doing very well. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, all right. So if you were going to go buy a flat screen TV, where would you go shopping?
Best Buy, Costco.
Best Buy, Costco, good little food at Costco. You can get something to eat
little
too.
pizza thing.
But I don't care if it's Amazon. You're not going to buy a Costco, Amazon, or Sam's Club, Walmart TV.
Right.
You're going to buy a Sony, Samsung, Vizio, built by Samsung, backed by Samsung. Those are companies that, including Amazon, are distribution companies. So what we are is a distribution company as well. And almost everything we have here is because of the relationship with Citi, we have over 100 companies that we can market for. And you can see some of the names on here. I think you probably recognize a few of them. So you see the little orange squirrels on the Voya commercials, obviously MetLife, Lincoln, Invesco's in Atlanta. So we started out with one company to market for. Now we have 100. So that was part of the good thing with Citi.
Right.
So we have a lot to offer to kind of bring Wall Street to Main Street, and I'll explain that.
Okay.
So we start off first with term life insurance, 10 to 35-year level, renewable as long as you want to keep it. But the early years when you're young, like I have daughters, and as they were growing up, they're going through, camp, band, you got scouts, you got dance recital scam, you got 3 different routines, 3 daughters, and you got to buy the intergalactic, dance costume. You can't have grandma make it.
Right.
So that's another thing I wasn't aware of being an old football guy. But all the things, all the way through a trip to the drugstore when they're teenagers, all the way to college, and weddings. I mean, it's just like it never ends. But today that's over. If anything happens to me and I don't come home tonight, they're not moving out of their house. I'm done with all that. So you have a very high need for a while. The reason is because 85% of widows under the age of 50 lose the home they live in within 12 months. And you already know this story because I don't care if it's church, scouts, school, sports in the community, they're always raising money for the guy that didn't come home. He had a heart attack, car accident, something bad happened, and now we're doing GoFundMe, maybe do a plate dinner, barbecue, maybe a golf tournament, depending on who it is, but maybe you'd raise, if it all went really well, maybe you'd raise $5,000 or $10,000.
Right.
And if I said for a meeting with me today, I wanted to give you $10,000, your next question might be, what time are we meeting tomorrow?
Yes.
And I'm available for breakfast too.
Drinks as well.
The drinks, whatever, 10 grand a pop, I'm in.
Yep.
But if I gave you 5 or 10,000 or less and said, oh, you got to raise a family with that, and you probably got a funeral, it's over. I mean, it's game over. And that's, a high percentage, almost 80% of the people in the country don't have enough insurance at all, not even close. So a high amount of coverage while you need it, low cost, and then decrease that later when you got investments. Now the investment side is what's interesting. We got some great companies here, and you can out in the marketplace get a 10, 12% yield. But what you got to look at is the rule of 72. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, and you can Google it later if you want. I mean, we couldn't Google it 40 years ago, but you can Google it now. I actually did the long math. I was so blown away by this. I was like, this is true. What a game changer.
Right.
So if you take 3% into 72, so divide 3 into 72, it takes 24 years, so 3 times 24.
Right.
24 years for money to double at 3%. So 2,000 goes to 4,000, 24 years. Another 24 years, 48 years down the road, now you've doubled again. Okay, at 8,000. 6% and 72 is going to be every 12 years. A little better, 32,000, but it gets crazy out here. 12%, 72, 12 and 72 goes 6 times. So that's every 6 years. So the difference is 8, 32, or 512,000, which is actually worse than that because the banks, which are the biggest buildings in most cities, they're actually charging you 20, 22, if it's rooms to go, 29%. Those credit cards, even the nice ones on TV, eating steaks on a plane, the funny commercials. You can Google those. They're like 7% for 9 months, and then they go to 14.5 on the 10th month. You got great credit. 24, if you don't have great credit, you make a payment late, it's going to go to 21 or 29 forever. And so that's where people are getting killed. Even at rooms to go, you walk in and buy $2,000 worth of furniture, no payments, no interest for 4 years, or 3 years, or 5 years, whatever.
Right.
And then you don't make any payments, no interest for however long. So if you did that for 4 years, it's been clicking at 29% ever since you left the store. So you're not paying on $2,000 when you go to make your first payment. It's probably going to be 2 times, 2.5 times what you bought. Okay. So that part of interest you got to get ahead of. And so we could put as little as $25 into an investment for people. The challenge for people today is if you go to the bank, you walk into the bank right above the fishbowl full of suckers. I know Wells Fargo has dum-dums, little teeny ones, cheap ones. Something you might put a bag of something on their porch if they gave that to you at Halloween. I mean, little cheap candy, what? But anyway, above that, the interest rates, they're 1/3 to 1/2 of 1%. Right. Not even 1%, which means it takes 144 to 240 years for your money to double at the savings account. If you got some money to put away for a few years, you get 1% in a CD. So you're never going to get ahead. So as little as $25, $50, $1 a day, $30 a month, you can get started in great investments where the banks put their money. So we bypass the middleman. Okay, so for that we take the low amount of money, because if you go to like the big brokers, I know I have an account at Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney. A lot of those places, it's $250,000 minimum for an account, or it's $50,000 or $100,000, depending on who it is. And if you go in there, you went from one job to another, you got downsized, furloughed, like what's going on with a lot of people now. They walk out with $17,000, $37,000, $50,000. Those people, most of the time, tell them when you get some money, come back, which means they're going to the bank and they never get ahead. So the term life insurance, make sure you have proper coverage and then have a decent retirement down the road to look forward to. Now, the 4 things we do different than the industry is we let people do the business part-time. Well, real estate's been part-time forever. You know people who do real estate on the side. Okay, so part-time, not a big deal, but it's a regulated business like real estate, so you got to get licenses. You got to get a couple licenses, 3 actually, out of the gate, if you're going to market pretty much what's on this presentation. I mean, you'd have to have 3 licenses. So, and the way we do that is it's low cost. I said we got out of the city, we're not sending them all kinds of profit, so we've invested in people. And so you start out for $124, and that's to pay for your classes, your exams, and your licensing fees, and for your appointment fees, which all, it could cost you, where some of the states I started, Maryland, D.C., Virginia, it was about $2,000 to do all that. And we're talking about $124. I know in the state of Georgia, we send more money to the state just for the insurance license paperwork. We send more than $124. So we've invested in people, but that's why we're growing and having our greatest success 43 years later.
Okay.
So we've invested in people. So we're getting a lot of people and get involved in the game. So low cost, part-time. We have a lot of opportunities for you to make on our low end, $250, $300 at our entry level as you're learning the business. And if you can do, 5, 10 hours a week, not 20 at a part-time job where you got the weekend, the evenings, all the crap hours. I mean, if you did 20 hours a week at $10 an hour, so at the end of 4 weeks, you worked 80 hours, $800, and Uncle Sam jumps in. So you don't even get $800. But here, $250 to $300 per client, that's obviously a much more efficient way to make some money on your own time. So great part-time income. And an extra $500, $1,000 or more could change your vacation plans, your zip code, the car you drive. So good part-time income. And then the last thing is we have enough, and if it's a broker model like real estate, if you're a broker in real estate and you got really good agents, they're going to come and beat you to death for more commission, threaten to go to RE/MAX or become a broker. Brokers come from good real estate agents. So if you develop them, listen to their crap, all the drama, support them all these years, and all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. You don't get paid on them anymore. I don't care if you own a hair salon, you got 5 chairs, you listen to all this nonsense for 4, 5, 6, 8 years or whatever, and then one of the ladies comes in and says, my mother-in-law just got remarried, and she's got a bigger house, I'm going to put a chair in her basement. You're done getting paid. So in our business model, you see some of the names on here, Quicken Loans. Okay, if you take a mortgage, or you take insurance, or you take any investment, savings, or retirement, how long are you paying on those products?
Forever.
Right, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, at least.
It's not like buying, a glass of water or a podium or anything else, a table, a chair. So, or a house, or a car for that matter. So we have more leverage in our system to where I can be the broker level, we call a regional vice president, but I can also produce regional vice presidents. And so on our business model, through 5 or 10 people and their referrals, if we build you 25 to 40 licensed people in about a 5 to 12 month period while you're part-time, 25 to 40 licensed people, basically generating 30 client applications a month could pay you a 6-figure income here. So, and we'll help you build that. So basically we have, part-time, low cost to get involved, great part-time income, and if you want to build that thing through 5 or 10 people, build the agency, we'll help you do that. And then build 25 to 40 license, 5 to 12 months while you're part-time, and then you get a 6-figure income as a broker, and build a business that you ultimately could own. Okay. A few other things in play that are going on is when you're kids, you're growing up and you play in the dirt and drink out of the hose or spigot, play kick the can, hide and seek, tag, a bunch of games that don't cost any money. Maybe somebody shows up with a ball. We're just happy, ignorant people playing in the dirt. Never made any money, Then all of a sudden you make some money and find out that there's other ski resorts besides Boone, North Carolina, Massanutten in Virginia, some hill in Pennsylvania, wherever the local thing is. You can actually go to Colorado or Utah and ski 45 minutes down one slope, not 45 seconds and sheer ice and panic and wet when you get to the bottom. You find out there's other beaches besides Sunset Cove or Sandy Point or some of the other local places, some local lake or river. You go to the islands, take a trip, cruise maybe, go to Hawaii, whatever. You take the kids to Disney, and everything crashes on you. And now you're sitting there with, clipping a coupon to take them to Six Flags or some water park, and even the kid wants to know, where's Mickey Mouse?
Right.
The problem is knowing the difference. We were poor, didn't know we were poor. Well, then when you know the difference, that's a challenge. And what we're facing right now is millions of people, millions and millions of people in North America, especially the '08 crash. So when I did my IPO, after the IPO, Let's Go Build Again, there was a world of people out there because of the banking crisis, people who are in the mortgage business, real estate. And I said all these things: mortgages, real estate, landscaping, lumber yards, concrete, nails, shingles, lumber. A lot of those people went down. And then the personal stuff: separation, divorce, death in the family, serious illness, accident, just stuff happens. And the confluence of those events, you end up from a bigger house, smaller house you own to a rental house, somebody's basement, whatever.
Right.
So knowing the difference is the challenge. And there's millions of people now with the recent developments 2020. I mean, it's even going to be worse and magnified because a lot of businesses are not going to be run the same way they used to be run. So consequently, we have a lot of people who are looking. I know millions of companies have gone to part-time. Instead of 40 hours, they do 39 and a half hours, 26 hours. You can just look out there, and that's because they don't want to pay retirement. They don't want to pay benefits, life insurance, health insurance, anything. People are part-time. So we have millions of people right now who are doing 1, 2 jobs, maybe looking at Uber, and that's their career, which means there's no end game because there's no retirement. They're going to have to continue doing it. Maybe high welcome to Walmart when you're in your 70s. I don't know. It's not much to look forward to. So you have a lot of challenges for people out there. They can go get a college degree or an advanced degree, run up student loan debt. They can still be a server out back too, which is all these places are chock full of kids that got degrees, didn't work out. And we found out in 2020, essential businesses. What's essential, what's not. Well, I don't know if your degree is essential. That's something you got to look at too, because that's a game changer. Okay, so you could do that. You could put out a resume. I was really good at what I used to do. Can you start me off around 80 or 100? That's probably not happening moving forward. So it's just a lot of changes that have gone on, and I would say a lot of people may be hungry, motivated, had some issues, some things that happen in their world. So we have an opportunity to look at something else here. So basically, we help you build, like I said, whether you're learning the process, making some part-time income, even just the licenses and adding to your resume the knowledge and saying you're licensed in 2 or 3 different areas. It's not going to hurt you just from a standpoint of your resume and your marketability. And knowing from the other side of the table how all this stuff works. That's a big deal.
Right.
Second, maybe make some part-time money, or a third, through the 5 or 10 people, we help you build 25 to 40, 5 to 12 months while you're part-time, and build you a business that you could ultimately own that pays you a 6-figure income. So that's a pretty big deal. So essentially, when I do the presentation, 1 of 3 things happens. One involves here, as you see a product you have an interest in, and you see some part-time income you want to talk about, or how's that thing where we build a broker type thing. Secondly, surely you know people that are not happy where they are, that are hungry, motivated, and they're looking right now, so referrals are great. 3, the presentation wasn't that long, and I'm finished.
Okay.
Drink of water with a fire hose, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's very interesting. Tell me more about the full-time thing.
The full-time thing, okay. What do you have an interest in that for?
Being an
So you'd like to build your business?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would involve, what we do is we get you started. So we get you started as far as registered what we're doing. And then we sit down, do a follow-up, probably tomorrow or the next day, and sit down and go through exactly your schedule, my schedule, how we're going to put this together, and how we'll go build that.
That's simple, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.